Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the Starkside. While you're here, I do appreciate it if you support the channel by hitting that like button. And if you're new here, please hit that subscribe as well as the notification bell. So, today we'll be talking about the Marvel Legends Spider-Man No Way Home's The Amazing Spider-Man. So here we have the Amazing Spider-Man in this cool card packaging. So unlike the other figures that I've reviewed so far, we get this different design for the card packaging. So instead of Spider-Man No Way Home, we get the Amazing Spider-Man 2 here. It might be because of licensing issues with Sony, so some form of approval might be needed from them to market this figure as No Way Home. Anyway, at the front here, we get this logo for the Amazing Spider-Man 2. At the side, we get this nice artwork of Spider-Man. At the back, we get different artwork here and a brief bio of the character, so if you want to read it, you can pause the video. And that's that. Alright, let's get the Amazing Spider-Man out of the packaging. And here we have Spider-Man. Now before we talk about the figure itself, let's go over the accessories. So this wave has no Build-A-Figure, so naturally this piece doesn't come with any Build-A-Figure part. So aside from an alternate masked head sculpt, Spidey comes with 2 pairs of alternate hands, so we get 1 pair of flipping hands, 1 open hand, and 1 fisted hand. And looking closely at the open hand and fisted hand, so these look really good, although I don't think this open hand can pass off as a wall crawling hand, so it doesn't really look like it's touching or sticking to a wall, so this is kind of disappointing. However, in spite of that, I really like the sculpted web lines that we get here in the black paint apps on the lines here, so I think all of these look really clean. I think they got the right shade of red here as well. It is also disappointing that we only get 1 of each of this, so I would very much prefer if we got the whole set, especially the wall crawling hands. And as usual, we also get thwipping hands, which look really good, so I'm really glad that they included the thwipping hands at the very least. I do wish we got more accessories like web accessories. I think that would have been great. You can use web accessories from other Spider-Man figures in the past, but still, it would have been better if Andrew here had his own. So just a brief bio about this character. So this version of Spider-Man is the very same Spider-Man that appeared in Mark Webb's Amazing Spider-Man movies, played by Andrew Garfield. And based on his suit and the background info that he revealed in No Way Home, this Spidey comes from after the Amazing Spider-Man 2 film. And I know a lot of people would feel that this Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man out of the 3 of them. I personally favored this Spider-Man over the others, but after seeing No Way Home and the Spider-Verse movies, each Spider-Person is his or her own, and they all have their moments. And starting with the head sculpt, I think this Peter Parker head sculpt looks really amazing. I think it captures the likeness of Andrew Garfield as he appears in No Way Home. This just looks really good. Hasbro's really nailing it with their unmasked head sculpts lately. Wow. I mean, just look at the eyes here. That's straight up Andrew Garfield. And switching it up with the masked head sculpt, and yeah, here we have a masked Spidey. And I just think this masked head sculpt looks so good. I think they got the right shape and size for the head here. The lenses also have the correct size and shape that I remember from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 film. And the black paint on the sculpted web lines look fantastic. Honestly, I think this might be one of the cleanest Spider-Man figures that I've ever laid my eyes on. Just wow. And like with the head sculpts, I think the rest of the figure is done really well. Honestly, I think this just might be one of my all-time favorite figures at this point. I think it has one of the cleanest paint apps that I've seen, especially the paintwork on the web lines. I haven't seen any smudging whatsoever on the paint here, so that's great. The red and blue also look very film accurate. And I also love the sculpted spider logos that we get here at the front and at the back of the figure, as well as the sculpted web shooters that he has on the wrists, which is actually something that I wish that they did for the PS5 Gamerverse Insomniac Spider-Man figure, since his web shooters in the game look really similar to Andrew's in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 film. So overall, if it's not obvious, I am so loving the sculpt and paint on Spidey here. Now let's go over the articulation for Spider-Man. So Spider-Man can look up that far, and he can look down as well. So we get the same neck articulation with the unmasked head sculpt. His head does rotate, and we do get some nice neck pivot. Like with most Spider-Man figures, we get butterfly joints that allow him to move his shoulders forward and backward. His arms move upward that far, way above the 90-degree mark, so that's awesome. And he can bend them down all the way. His shoulders rotate 360. We get a bicep swivel, pinless double jointed elbow, so that looks great. His wrists do rotate and move up and down, so we get the same wrist articulation for all his alternate hands. He has a diaphragm pivot that allows him to move sideways, bend forward, backward, and rotate side to side. And another awesome thing about the articulation here is we also get this additional inverted ab crunch here, like with the retro Spider-Man, so he can bend forward and backwards even more. Although personally, I do wish he can bend forward a whole lot more. Anyway, his legs can kick forward very far, but not so much backwards. His hips move outward very far. We also get drop-down hips for this figure too, which help with the leg and hip articulation. He has an upper thigh cut, pinless double-jointed knees. His ankles move up and down, and he has ankle pivot as well. Now for some figure comparisons, here's the Amazing Spider-Man next to some other Spider-Man figures that I have. So we have the classic retro Spider-Man, the PS5 Gamerverse Insomniac Spider-Man, and the MCU Far From Home Spider-Man. And here's the Amazing Spider-Man next to his cinematic predecessor, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. And here's Spider-Man next to the other figures from this wave that I've reviewed so far. So we have MJ, Matt Murdock, Sandman, and again, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. So that's my review of the Marvel Legends The Amazing Spider-Man. So despite the lack of more accessories, I think this figure has amazing sculpt and paint apps and great articulation. So I love this figure. And if you're wondering where I got this figure, so I pre-ordered this wave from Collector's Quest Philippines. So if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description below. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this figure. Let me know what you think of my review. Please leave a comment below. And if you like this video, I do appreciate it if you support the channel by hitting that like button. And if you still haven't, please hit that subscribe as well as the notification bell. You can also follow me on social media, links in the description below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.